All right, everyone, thanks for coming. Let's get started. Okay, I don't believe. So I was going to introduce David Heel from Webster University, but I don't think is able to join us today. So no new task force members to introduce, although Julia Lenig, who was on the task force from the BDC, she is stepping down. She's taking on a new position, and so she'll have to be leaving the task force. And then also we have a new task force member who will be joining hopefully next month. He sits on the Sustainability Commission. His name is Matt Rude. And Paul Bars, who was on the task force, stepped down from the Sustainability Commission. So Matt is taking over as representative of that commission, but he's traveling today to a wedding, so unable to join today. All right, we'll keep going. Okay, to our question of the month. So we're starting back at the beginning today and just asking, what is the Webster Grove Safe Streets Initiative? And so we're curious just what you guys have gathered. This is not meant to put you on the spot. This isn't a quiz. It's more so just to see if you are comfortable talking about this so we can determine how and what information to give you that would be supportive to you all. So does anybody feel comfortable taking a stab and kind of getting the conversation going about what the Webster Grove Safe Streets Initiative is?
Sure.
Go for it, Jerry.
Okay, I'll go for it.
Thank you. Thank you.
My elevator pitch
Yeah.
has been that it is a pilot to be able to develop first off, to identify and then to develop a prototype or a pilot safety initiative for pedestrians or business or cyclists. I hear that a lot. Everybody, yes, that is at the top of the list, cyclists, and then families. So it is also to prevent any mitigate risks.
Perfect. Yeah. Does anybody want to add on to that?
I can. I've been kind of describing it as an exploratory initiative to figure out, what works in the city for safe streets and what we may need. We're trying to hear from citizens to then determine our safety action plan.
Perfect. Safety action plan. Key word there. That's perfect.
Thank you.
Safety action plan is really the ultimate goal of the Webster Grove Safe Streets Initiative. Should we go ahead and just move into? Oh no, I'm sorry. This is what I. Okay, so the Webster Grove Safe Streets Initiative is born out of a federal grant that we received from the Department of Transportation called Safe Streets and Roads for All. The purpose of Safe Streets and Roads for All is to prevent roadway deaths and serious injuries. And if we're going to get a little granular about it, it advances the Department of Transportation's goal of zero roadway deaths using the safe systems approach. We haven't talked about the safe systems approach yet. That's still, I think, further down the line. But if you were to Google and start really researching about safe streets and roads for all from a federal level, they'll talk about the safe systems approach. SS4A was established by the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and it's under Department of Transportation. So the reason we're asking about this is, and I'm going to pass some of these out, is because we have community engagement that we will be planning soon. One is coming up quickly, and we're very, we're hoping that the task force will be present at these community engagement events, but also just in your day-to-day that you feel comfortable talking about this initiative. So, yes, and I'll just pause for a second to talk about the consultants, and Dr. Martin, please interrupt me at any point. But just about 2 weeks ago, I guess, council approved, or last week even, council approved the contract for our consultants who will be creating our safety action plan. It's Gonzalez is the name of the company. And so in addition to creating the safety action plan with all of us, Gonzalez will also be helping us design the community engagement component to this. And then our roles, the task force, and the project team here is to implement that engagement plan, to be present, to talk to the community, because we need to know what the community's concerns are. And of course, we had our first survey, and we kind of talked about those results last month. And that's great. It's a good first step. And so now we just need to dive down deeper into those results. Any questions about Gonzalez? I just wanted to give an opportunity to ask questions before we move on.
And is part of their scope to prepare materials for engaging with the community, or is that a responsibility of the members of this?
So that would be,
Yeah.
they will develop those with Sean and those will be developed, and really the goal and what we need the task force to do would be well informed, so that we can speak about safe routes for all, as well as show to community engagements to just make so that folks see community members at these spaces. And so we have Gonzalez on, which is great, so they can develop this plan, but they may be able to show it to some of them, but the task force wants to show up, right? So we just need to make sure that everybody has the same talking point. You're uncomfortable with something that we look deeper into it, so there's clear understanding, so there's no misinformation being shared, right? And to the point of what is safe streets, I think that great answers, and as Sean alluded, when it comes to safe streets, our outcomes, the biggest outcome that we have is the safety action, right? And it's what the city of Webster Grove is committing to get to zero deaths. We know that the city of Webster Grove doesn't have a large amount of deaths, but there's still ways to make sure the streets are safe for cyclists, for children that are going to school, that are walking to school. And so the safety action plan is going to detail how we're going to get there, so that no matter where anybody is socioeconomically, that they are supported by age. Dr. Rose has a lot of seniors in this community, they can get around the city. And so the demonstrations will come. The demonstrations are temporary, and we'll kind of talk more about that once we get into the Kirkwood action plan. That not the whole thing, but just like chapter 3. I hope you all would. I'm really excited to talk about it.
Perfect. Thank you for that. So if you guys take a look at these frequently asked questions, go down to what are the different types of SS4A grants? Okay, and there's 2 different types that I want to call out. There's planning and demonstration grants, and then there's implementation grants. Webster Groves received a planning and demonstration grant. That's what this task force is called to help us with implementing. So these funds that we have are to develop a comprehensive safety action plan. And that safety action plan is just to develop a well-defined strategy that eliminates roadway fatalities and serious injuries. This is St. Louis. I mean, this is also in alignment with the greater St. Louis region safety action plan. Do you want to talk about the other municipalities that Gonzalez?
Has one, and we are, all of ours should conflict each other. There should not be contradictory. So, which is one of the reasons why, 2 reasons why we're looking at Kirkwood, but
And Gonzalez played a role in Kirkwoods as well.
So East-West Gateway, is really sad, right? East-West Gateway. I think they were the first to apply for the state insurance for all. They developed a St. Louis metro area, action plan. And so we looked at that, we understand what their goals are and ours needs to align with that. We can't talk about, county streets. Big band, for instance. However, we can talk about the streets around it and how it impacts those. So that's really important.
Okay, so then once we have our comprehensive safety action plan, then we can go back and apply for an implementation grant. Implementation grant funding helps you actually implement the various strategies that are outlined in your safety action plan. So that's where we are. And so some of the other FAQs on here, and we won't go through all these, but there's a little bit of information on the safe system approach. Then, the different types of grants, the comprehensive safety action plan. Demonstration activities. So I think in the beginning of this process, there was a lot of attention given to the demonstration projects. Those are coming and we will focus more on those later, but it's important to keep in mind that those are just a small part of the overall project. So the demonstration activities are temporary pilots. Some of these might just be up for like 2 weeks or so. And a couple weeks. I don't even want to say 2, but they're temporary. They are to pilot different kinds of technologies to see if it's a good fit. And then, and if we like it, then we'll put it in the safety action plan, but we may not like it. So it's just important to know and to keep in mind that those demonstration projects are a small piece that will help us inform what goes into our safety action plan. We're also,
Eric's one.
oh yeah, shoot. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Can you guys hear me? No? Test.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you guys loud and clear, and I can see you guys now too.
Okay, perfect. And did you have a question?
No, I was raising my hand because there was I don't think you guys could hear me or.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's working now.
okay, perfect. Beautiful. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So another thing we'll call out is the environmental review. We have different consultants that conduct the environmental review that is required under federal law under the National Environmental Policy Act. And so for any transportation projects that are federally funded, you have to do an environmental review. So we have consultants that are doing that. It is in process, but we anticipate it'll be a while until that's finished up, but September. And we cannot start the demonstration projects until that is complete. So that's in process right now, hopefully to finish up in September. And then here's just a few acronyms you might see thrown around when looking at various SS4A things out on the internet. So I guess what we just want to make sure is we want you to feel comfortable talking about the initiative. We want to make sure we can prepare you with talking points. And so what would you guys like to be armed with? Yeah.
I might recommend a question around the survey and how we intend to use the survey.
Okay.
And I know that, it's kind of implied here with the grant and the task force response, but just being more direct there.
Sure.
If someone's like, hey, I filled out that survey. What do you like? Did
Yeah.
you see it? Are you listening to me? I want, XYZ here. Just kind of a response that we can give them that we're reviewing. It will help inform the safety action plan
Okay.
to that effect.
Perfect. Jill, thanks.
One thing that I would like to share is when it comes to full access data. That will tell them that we have on gathering information. And once we have the data and it's been analyzed, even the survey, I mean, we're gonna share it. None of this is, we are not keeping anything secret. Okay, all of this will be shared with the community. Who knows our website?
Did you know we have a website? We have a Safe Streets website that's up.
What's that website?
And so a lot of the information that, to your point about the survey, here's some of the survey results that are on the website. So we're trying to be as transparent as possible. We want people to understand that we're gathering that data. It's being analyzed, it's being looked at, and as the action plan is being written, the outcome of the survey will impact where we're going with the action. Because the city wants to give a record explanation. Does that help a little bit with the question about the survey?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
Mhm.
And there'll be more. Yeah, there will be more that will come.
More surveys.
Yes, so our website is WG Safe Streets. You can get there from the home page. And if you haven't seen it, look around a little bit, it's really nice, the guiding principles are here. Sean developed this website, she did a wonderful job. While we're on here.
Mhm.
Yeah. The updates are on here. And so we really want you all to let us know if there's something you feel like, okay, you're missing this. That those FAQs are not on there yet, because we want for them to you all before we, in case you all have something else to add to it. But yes, this is our website.
I think the FAQ about explaining the purpose of the plan and securing funding is really important. So like, when I have told my neighbors our deliverable is a plan, they kind of look at you like, it's not really deliverable, like that's a paper exercise. And what we need to articulate really clearly is it's a conduit to a source of funding.
Yeah,
And so like, I would picture like either when we do community events or on the website, some sort of timeline that shows secured federal funding, physical project execution, and the importance that in order for the gate to go open to get federal funding to execute a project, we have to write this plan. Like that's the bureaucracy and that's why we're doing it. It's a good thought exercise, but like, that's really why we're doing it. And being clear that like, that's the whole sequence start to finish.
So
Mhm.
this image that's on the screen right now, does that make sense, or should it be developed a little further?
I would make it crystal clear when a shovel's going in the ground. Cause like implement safety action plan, like, is that teaching in elementary schools and radar campaigns, or is that like shovels in the ground? Cause that's what people feel is tangible, like when we move metal or concrete.
Okay.
So the implement safety action plan, those will be, okay, have you read Kirkwood? Let's go into Kirkwood.
Okay.
So then maybe it'll be a better understanding. So the safety action plan is like a city's comprehensive plan. What are we gonna do over the next 5 years, right? A strategic plan. So there are deliverables in that plan. We may do this, might work, we get funding, we may not. This we're absolutely gonna do because it needs to be done, right? So say when the shovel's gonna hit the ground will be a little bit hard, only because right now, because we don't know that's what the carpenter report's like right now, right? Because we don't know what's gonna be in the city yet. That's the purpose of the community engagement. And so when we know, once it's all the way developed, we have to figure out if we get funding from the feds, right? The funding part is a big piece to it, so there are gonna be projects that's gonna be in the safety action plan that we hope that funds will come from the feds. And then there are going to absolutely be projects that Webster Groves is going to support. So those are what they see, right?
And I don't know that the x-axis having time labels is really that important. Like I think it's more important just to show the order. Like you're right, the dates are gonna move based on the results of the report, but the order in which the events occur, probably not gonna change, right? Like there's the split at some point, what we fund, what the federal government funds. But other than that, like the order is the same. And so like, I think even if we don't have the dates, explaining the sequence to get stuff done is still valuable.
I think that that is critical in terms of what you're touching on is managing expectations. Because I think people have a tendency of just tuning out when you start running through all this information. I don't understand how it works. What's the difference between planning and implementation? You made it very clear meeting, our very first meeting, that this was, I call it a pilot, but it is a planning exercise. And what I miss out of that graphic is the fact that, a real bold, clear and concise call out as to what the expectation is, because we don't know if we will ever get to implement it. The only thing we know is that we are going to take a hard look at mitigating risk. And I think if there's some way to be able to, there's a lot of stuff going on. My eye goes immediately to 69%, walk value. I'm not sure if I didn't know that there was a survey going on, this is great. It educates me. But I think the biggest responsibility that we have, I think you hit the nail on the head, is to manage expectations. Because what we can't afford is for the community to suddenly say, okay, you mean all this is a plan? Or all it is like on the corner of Lockwood and, right? That's it? So I think we just have to kind of look around corners and anticipate what the reactions might be.
I think one of the reasons.
Oh,
Go ahead.
thank you. I was thinking about this as like maybe in phases. So say if in my neighborhood I live on Bacon, and so we have an issue with people speeding down the street. And so if a survey is taken and we say, hey, we would really like speed bumps on our street. That's the ask that the data is collected and we know that we would like speed bumps. That's phase one. Phase two is putting a plan in place to get the speed bumps. And I guess phase three is shovels in the ground on this is why all this makes sense. Is we have to go through all of this conversation to get the speed bumps. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And I think I was gonna make a related point to yours, is that if you read the end of your report the Traffic Advisory Committee wrote, the answer to a lot of the citizen concerns right now is this initiative. So like I think like at the end of every graphic, there has to be a man with a shovel. And like if you read there was a few streets that people had expressed concerns of, and they're like, oh, Safe Streets for All committees kicking off, yada, yada, yada. So I think that's why people were sort of like looking to that to be like, hey, what is the end of the tunnel here?
I do not mean to go down a rabbit hole, so stop me if I am.
No,
but,
please, go for it.
How confident are we that there will be funding as part of this initiative in a couple of years when we get it applied?
It's a great question. So the NOFA for the next rounds of Safe Streets for All was just announced couple,
No, it's supposed to come out by the end of this month.
by the end of this month it's
The
supposed to come.
website was updated, plus that's gonna drop by the end of March, like that, March 31st, 2025. That was the update on the website. Leading to believe it will be funded. We'll find out by April 1st.
We've been told that so far Safe Streets for All has not been affected. I mean, of course, that could change.
Yeah.
But as of now, we remain cautiously optimistic that it's going to continue. This doesn't seem like one of the priorities of the administration
Right, it's
at the moment,
be
at
pretty
least.
not controversial, I would think.
Yes.
Now,
roads
had this
and
been
the
Safe
streets.
Streets for Meacham Park, we'd have a different conversation.
Yeah, no, there could be, there could be a change in jargon that's used or certain deliverables or certain priorities of, the last administration, encouraged, applicants to really apply the lens of equity. And the next administration, likely won't care about that. And so, how we communicate in our future applications might change, but to our understanding, there should be funding in the future.
So I have a question. This is a silly question, but regretfully, I don't think I received the survey. Right? And so I don't know if the data is still being collected. And if so, like if I talk to my neighbor and he says, yeah, this speeding thing, I said, well, you can take this survey and we can possibly get some data behind these concerns. Is there an active survey in place right now?
Not right now. It just closed the end of February 21st, I will
Okay.
say. So it opens right before Thanksgiving. It was open for about 3 months. And we had yard signs and we moved those yard signs around every 2-3 weeks. And so it unfortunately it's closed now, but there will be more surveys. But nothing at the moment. But we do have the inbox. And so on the website, it also says, the public is welcome to send their concerns into the inbox. And we have had some messages come through that way. Before we go on to Vision Zero, let's talk about Webster on Wheels. So our first community engagement event is coming up May 3rd. And it's the Webster on Wheels Community Bike Ride. We would like to table at that event, but we need the task force's help to be present and talk to community members. We would be handing out, we would have little postcards printed with information on the initiative. We might plan an opportunity to collect feedback at this event. The event is 1:30 to 4:30. And so if anyone is available that day or plans already to go to that event and can take a shift at our table, that would be wonderful.
I can put my name on the list.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Yeah, so we could do 2 shifts, we'll probably need a little bit of time to set up the table and get stuff ready. So maybe 12:30 to 2:30 and then 2:30 to 4:30.
Put down 12:30.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I could probably have someone from the chamber,
Okay.
if that would be permissible.
Aaron's raised his hand.
Oh, Jill, thank you. And Eric's raising his hand. Okay.
Yeah, I could probably do the later one. I'll have a kid in tow, but I'm sure that's
Oh, yeah.
probably motivates more conversation.
How are you dividing the shifts?
12:30 to 2:30 and then 2:30 to 4:30.
Yeah, let me know. If you need someone on either one of those, let me know.
Okay. And Jill, what time did you say?
I have probably prefer the later.
Okay.
Probably bring my daughter.
Yeah. To do the bike? Yeah, they're gonna do the bike ride? Okay. Very cool.
And where exactly is the event going to be?
You know what? I'll email you guys the information. It's at it starts at Bristol's Elementary Blacktop, basically, is where it starts. Are you gonna be there, Chief? Or somebody from?
Somebody from.
Yeah, okay, I figured.
Um,
Didn't know if you knew details
so
about.
they go on a bike ride through the community. There's some entertainment and I think it runs till 4:30.
Yeah, I think they go to the high school and then back.
Right, okay.
I haven't been before, but I think that's normally what happens. But I'll find out and I'll send you guys the information. Right now I've got the poster from the organizers, so. Okay, wonderful. Thank you guys very much.
Community engagement with Webster on Wheels will probably have, who was the first meeting?
Jerry,
Jeremy, bring I'm sorry, not the first meeting, the first meeting in here, when we have the post-its on the wall. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do something like that. We'll print it on card, we'll have like tripod to sit on, some type of sticker information for folks to engagement. And collect information that way as well as that. So just so you know, it'll be like, thinking two. We'll see, no more than two, and then we'll have a map on the table for folks to like put where they live, or where they do business, whatever. So we can collect that, I guess.
That's great. I feel like you need something actually.
Yeah.
Engage people instead of just standing there.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks, guys. Okay, you want to go into Vision Zero?
Okay, any comments about Kirkwood action plan? Did everybody review it?
Would it be helpful if I printed off a couple for?
Let's pull it up.
They're
I just
just,
sent this to y'all on email, but I hate all the letters in front. I just find it very distracting. And I don't know if that's just kind of a part of what should be in there.
In what?
All the letters.
the like letters of support up front.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Like, that's something we have to do. We just like throw them in the back. and
Yeah.
things like that. That's
And
just
so,
something.
but to that point, this is because with the safety action plan, there's parameters, pillars that you have to meet.
Yeah.
And this just shows that the city had buy-in, right?
Okay.
Well, we're gonna go to a chapter 3, and I think
Okay.
we tell you all that, and just, look at how they did their community engagement, we know what it is.
I've got the flyer for what the event is. It starts at 1:30. It's a bike and safety check by the Hub. Hub and Webster is also a partner in this. The Sustainability Commission will give information. There'll be snow cones and coffee and food stations. And at 3 to 4 p.m. they do a 6 mile and 1 mile bike ride through town. And then from 4 to 4:30, there's a post bike ride activity, which I think is the show. So that's kind of the overall synopsis. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you.
No, you're fine. So Kirkwood's community engagement is where I really want you all to focus in on, to see what they did with the information and the purpose of it. And I know that we talk every week about engagement and why we do it, how it's to give and take continuously, give information, take information. But just I think sometimes it's important to see the outcome of the safety action of what this brand should look like. And Kirkwood's next door, why not show theirs? Also, the project manager that is on our grant did the consultant project manager also wrote Kirkwood's. So they're very familiar with this area. Super excited about that because that means that they don't have to do, they have to do research, they're familiar with the names. So I thought it was really important that with understanding the purpose of community engagement, but most importantly on this page 15 is this the Vision Zero Taskforce is in the steering committee. You all serve as both. Okay, so I'm not sure let me blow it up some because it shows the responsibility, right? You all hold accountable, you all are partners in this final action plan. Before this goes to council, it goes to you all, right? And you all say, no, I didn't see that anywhere. I didn't see that, they wanted an ice rink. But what am I saying? A roller. That wasn't important. So why is it in? So then you all can say, that wasn't the top thing that the community said. So I just really want, I think it's really important to understand the magnitude of your position on this task force. We appreciate you all taking your time, showing up and doing the homework because we can't do this without you all. So, definitely. So when we talk about community engagement, the local events, the survey, now Kirkwood did one survey and they had less responses than us. But they had 395. The public meetings will happen. We will have those and we will show up. Those will come probably fall. I'm not sure if we'll have, we might have some. But what we heard, and so to your point of how we're going to use this, how we're going to use the survey results. We plan on using our survey results exactly how Kirkwood used theirs, right? I wish, I don't have the survey up right now, but there's 3 or 4 questions that are open-ended, and we show the
Word
clouds.
clouds.
And so that's how they gather a lot of this data. And Sean and I was actually looking at it yesterday, and we said, we need to do something with the word clouds, because good or bad, word clouds pull out words that are continuous. It's not giving you the statements. And so, you know, one of them was like safety for kids to walk to school. One of them was safety to bike ride. Well, word cloud pulls safety out. And so we really have to get down deep in there and look at what the residents that took the survey mean when they say safety. When they say, you know, they want parking and speeding. A lot of them will give us the streets, but you know, we have to look more into that and analyze the data a lot more so that we can have an end result like Kirkwood's. I think their safety action plan is very well written. And it meets the qualifications for the next step. Right.
So I read this as their deliverable, their final deliverable. And was this authored by Gonzalez? Did he spearhead this and?
No, so the company that did theirs is Ulta is the company that did theirs.
So is Gonzalez going to be doing ours?
Gonzalez is gonna be doing.
And it'll be their responsibility to take all of our discovery, everything that we're doing, and then they'll decorate it and
Yes.
produce it.
Absolutely. You like what you read? Did you like it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, it's very intuitive, right? It's easy to digest. I like all the graphics, right? You can,
Okay.
I think they did an excellent job.
I wonder if there's a way we can do a word cloud at the community engagement event, like in real time. You know, like as we talk to residents on what's important to them, that they type it into a laptop and on the screen, it starts to populate this word cloud. I don't know how to do that, but it may be a good idea to have a visual that is something that people can see in real time.
That's a great idea.
Do you know if Kirkwood has applied for their implementation grant with this and has gotten it?
Yes, so Kirkwood actually spearheaded their home safety action plan. When they wrote theirs, the SS4A grant did not pay for safety action plans. Eventually, every city is going to have a safety action plan. That's where they're going towards for Department of Transportation. Works.
Yeah, no, I think we definitely would want to mirror something like this with our survey results. Yeah, it's easy to digest, hold up the main stats, like we've already done, frankly, for the
Yeah.
website.
I just thought it was important that everybody, that, you know, we had a chance to look at it so that you can see what the outcome is, you can see. I thought it was very well done and I read 3 of them, the 4 of them, including this was 4. And this was the best one visually and to understand the information that was gathered. even through when you go into the high impact networks and everything, it's just very, it was layman terms. And so I thought it was important. I'm gonna move down to the demonstration portion really quickly, just because I felt like this, because we were talking a lot about administration when I first came in,
And real quickly, I just wanted to say before you go into demos, I thought these walking audits were interesting, under just the various forms of community engagement. You know, they tabled at local events, there was community survey and kiosks, public meetings, and also walking audits. So I think that would be something we could think about as well. One of our top roadway concerns is missing or a lack of sidewalks. So I think that was the number 2 concern. So that could be helpful for that. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
The training parts for the city, I think that this one was a narrowing of a lane, but it really made me think about the staffing it and underpass usage that is in the demonstration projects. And it shows that we don't need to break any ground, we don't need to, these are all gonna be cones that are gonna, slim down the street a little bit, not anything nowhere near perfect. And so because there was a lot of conversation of administration projects, I just wanted to see like what that really looks like. And we're looking forward to it. Hopefully in October, we'll be able to get one kicked off.
And if you scroll down just a touch, Dr. Martin, thank you, right there, you'll see duration under their downtown Kirkwood duration, November 3rd to November 19th. So theirs were very temporary as well. They were short, 2 to 3 weeks.
We can do better. I think, I didn't know how to even comprehend what they were doing. It looked like it was a construction site. Unless I went back and really studied the text and really invested the time to understand exactly what they were doing, we can do better.
It's
Either through-
interesting how they had 3 different locations. How they communicated their demonstration projects were based on 3 different locations. And within those locations, they were testing various components. So at the Longview, or yes, here, the downtown Kirkwood one, they had additional buffer, pavement striping, and cones. So that one's all kind of related. But under the Longview one, it was lane delineation, curb extensions, median island. There were multiple components in. And our demonstration projects might be communicated differently. They might be communicated in a location situation, although that might be hard for us because we have locations all over that have been identified. So we've got how many speed bumps? I mean, like 40 speed bumps?
So to your point, ours are a lot different. The only one that might look like this is the multi-path. That's the only one that might have the cones or, something temporary. It may be one of those temporary median type, I don't know, I'm not public works, I don't know that, but I just want to show the temporariness of it.
I think we can all agree, a picture speaks 1,000 words. And it's an impression, and it is the execution that we will be judged on. And as this becomes a public, document, I think more dedication, let's say, and again, just as an illustration, if we have 40 locations for speed bumps, I think it is worthy of speed bumps, right?
Yeah.
And then, right, big graphics with minimal amount of text. I mean, you might have to have some annex and supporting text, but if you want to, if one of our missions in this deliverable is to communicate, right, the demonstration and what, right, the planning and the demonstration, I think visuals are absolutely critical.
I agree.
So you're saying larger pictures?
Dedicated space, like I found this is 10 pounds in a 3-pound bag. I didn't know, I just glossed right over it. It just looks like there's construction and somebody put some red paint and,
Understood.
Perfect. That's exactly what we're asking and wanting to know. Thanks, Jerry.
Is there, this might be an elementary question, but is there a roster of the planned demonstration projects that we could use when we speak to people?
Oh,
The grant.
yes.
Like the ones that are gonna happen this fall or what have you, and
Yeah, it's not publicly available at the moment, but
and that's okay, but even if we just had some examples to use as talking points, I think that would be valuable.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're working on that right now, actually.
And I guess, is this team gonna review that before we agree on it, or is that not a sign off that this team completes, or how does that work?
So the demonstration project and go, I was just gonna say that.
So the demonstration projects, no, those are approved by the federal government, they're not.
They're already locked in.
Okay, so we have the list.
Yes, we have a list.
Wasn't that during the initial
Mhm.
application process for
Yeah.
to get fund, to get the implementation or the planning demonstration grant?
I got it. So y'all can send us the list that we could use as background when we speak with people.
Yes. Yeah.
We can send the grant out, that's not a problem.
Just some feedback. My company installs traffic calming, various traffic calming products and stuff all over the country. I hadn't read this part of the Kirkwood plan. These are some of the least effective or least impactful traffic calming things you could do at some of these intersections, in my opinion. I guess I'm just sitting here looking at it. Our 5 demo projects, I think, are going to be far more impactful. I mean, because they're actually providing an opportunity for multimodal transport where none currently exists, like on Elm there coming up from Lockwood and a few other places. I'm kind of surprised. I would think those would be considered low impact, what I'm seeing there on the screen right now in Kirkwood. So I'm surprised.
Interesting.
Yeah, they might be, but I think that what. They might.
They might, it's not our project. I don't.
Yeah.
No, and I guess my point in just in bringing it up is that the 5 demos we're doing, I think, will be more impactful than what I'm seeing here, which is a good thing.
Yes, and I think that for our pilots, we went for it, and we have funding to pay for it. Whereas Kirkwood paid for their own.
And maybe that's why.
Sense. Makes a difference sometimes.
Mhm.
But yes, absolutely. And to your point of low impact and high impact, I'm gonna just talk about this really quickly, just because you brought it up. But, in their toolbox, it tells you like the direct benefits, indirect benefits, and then I think they have ones like how it impacts the community or when, short-term, long-term goals and things like that. So if you're interested and you nerd out on it, if you wanna read it, you won't have it, but those will have to identify those as well. Short-term, long-term goals, and you will have your input on those things, so, yeah.
Since Brett wasn't here in the beginning, you're not aware of the demo, so let me just tell you what they are. We've got temporary speed humps are one of our demonstrations. Adaptive signal timing is another one. Adaptive variable speed limit signs. A multi-use shared path. This is for the specific location of North Elm right here, connecting Lockwood to Kirkham. In-road warning light systems. So these are like little lights in the roads that are at pedestrian crosswalks, and then pedestrian hybrid beacons. And that's for a specific location on Kirkham, or maybe it's Brentwood there. But there's a church, there's a lot of pedestrians that cross Kirkham to get to a church that's on the left side of the road if you're traveling north, west side, I guess that would be. And then, but for the other ones, besides those 2 that have specific locations, all of the other 4 have multiple like we have like 40 speed humps. Now, there are locations that have already been identified and that were in our grant application. There's a little bit of wiggle room there, the exact placement, like the precise placement of where all those speed humps are going, that was not like, nailed down yet, but just general locations have been determined.
And I guess the reason I ask for that is if you think about like change management 1,000, like ideally, they would get people who are so interested would get examples drizzled on them through conversations and informal channels. And at some point we'd publish something more official and then they'd see a plan and they'd see a demonstration project. So like that sort of like ramp up in information flow is I guess why I would ask for those examples.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have also, maybe next month we might talk about this, but we're thinking about our next survey, or at least we want to do a pre-demonstration project survey and post, obviously. But the pre-demo survey would kind of explain what our demonstration projects are and just gets a sense of the community's reactions and, you know, what they're anticipating these might be, if they'll be effective or not. So then after our demonstration projects are complete, we can go back and ask the same questions and see, you know, what changed, what was the same. And so because we have so many demonstrations, this might need to be in 2 different surveys. You know, it's likely would be a lot of information to communicate in one survey, especially when you want to keep it concise enough and, you know, that where it's easy for people to take the quiz, but, or the survey, but yeah, so more on demos coming, certainly.
Yeah, and we'll get the administration information out to you all. We'll probably just share, that part of the grant application so you can have it. Because it details like what streets. And then maybe we can discuss in the surveys which demonstrations we identify. Because we don't want to overwhelm people with like 14 surveys. We maybe push out 2 pre and post on these demonstrations. We just need to identify which 2 projects. So like the speed bumps will be project. But there's 7. So 6. So let's, when you look at it, let's decide which other ones. I'm sure the speed bumps. Because that didn't make sense.
Especially since speeding and aggressive driving was our #1 concern.
Yeah.
Reported.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for signing up to attend Webster on Wheels. Also, if there's any other talking points or FAQs that would be helpful for us to prepare for you guys, just let me know, shoot me an email and I'll work on those. Anything else? We're just right at time almost, so.
Doodle, for the time.
Oh,
our meeting.
yes.
Is this time working? for
Yes, is this a good time for you guys?
everyone?
Yeah, we're getting the sense that.
Hey, I do want to add something from Traffic Advisory Committee. Last time we spoke about our community outreach efforts and whether or not we were going to try and link up with you guys. What we had our meeting 2 weeks ago. What we kind of decided is I think your messaging is pretty targeted and specific, and we don't want to muddy the water. So we're going to move forward just generally communicating about safe streets, multimodal transport. We are not going to try and get into SS4A messaging. We will, if you guys are interested, you're welcome to come if you want to come, you know, talk about it. If somebody wants to come talk about SS4A, or we can mention it at the end. But that's kind of what we decided. I'm summarizing that correctly, right, Eric?
Yeah, okay,
So just a heads up. So
awesome, thank you. Good to know, that's helpful, yeah. Okay, the last thing is we're gonna send out a doodle about the timing for these meetings.
But, time, and to me, if there's a date, I think during the week, I guess that may work better too.
Well, I think if daytime during working hours is helpful, or if an evening time is better. If it's evening, if that's what's helpful for everyone, then we're kind of at the mercy of space and, you know, municipal court and other events that happen here throughout the week. But we just, originally this meeting time was determined, you know, a couple months ago, and the task force has changed a lot since then. So we just wanted to ask again and make sure that, yeah. but it's a good time for all. Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.